Kevin Brennan, try not to hurt Geno Bisconte. Don't hurt Geno Bisconte at all. And don't slam the door. Don't break the equipment for Compound Media. And don't break any equipment to Compound Media at all, Kevin Brennan from Franktown. Kevin.
Dude, that's honestly the best advice. He's one of the most sane people I know. And I'm so lucky that he can jump on this morning to help illuminate the situation. Welcome to the show, dear friend, comedian Geno Bisconte.
Hey, we're hanging out.
We're hanging out. What's going on, Geno? What is happening?
I'm flipping this mic because it's so much better this way. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Kevin Brennan is. Watch this. I'm in the Marvel universe. I fucking win.
Okay.
I win is what happened.
Take it from the beginning. Geno, take it from the beginning. When do you feel like you and Kevin first started to butt heads? When do you feel like we were tension?
We were fucking besties 2 weeks ago on the football show, which couldn't go up this week because Kevin's a fucking psycho. Kevin.
Oh, because he didn't show up to do it this week?
No, because Kevin broke the studio. The studio. That's all there is to it. It's just Kevin does 2 shows a week and it's fine. And it's this was the beginning of the beef with Aaron Berg when he started doing Legion of Skanks. And he started fucking pushing back on us and acting like the cool kid at the fucking high school fucking senior football table and just shitting on stuff. And I'm like, you need to understand something. What we do 5 days a week on In Hot Water, whether you like it or not, and a lot of people do, and you know what I also love? A lot of people don't, because there's no fucking
like
middle.
Anything.
Yeah, well, not like anything. No, because not like the fucking comedy industry now, where you got to get everyone to like it by being right in the middle and sucking a giant dick. No, I've always been like this. There's no middle ground with me. You're either like Geno's fucking great, or I can't take him. He's too whatever he is. And I'll never sit there in the middle going like, how do I win more of these? No, you get the people that cotton to the way you are and they stick with it. Kevin Brennan's bit. And he's very good at bits. Because Kevin Brennan
I thought you said baked.
No, Kevin Brennan's bit. And I'll give him this because he was a great comedian. Is he still funny? Yes. But when you go on a podcast, your podcast, Misery Loves Company, which I probably listen to more than any other, because I like his bit. I like the drama shit he does. But when you come on to our show, you don't get to play the drama card and be like, yeah, when Pat Dixon and Anthony Zenhauser. No, they're not fucking good comedians. They're guys that, anytime you lay your hands on someone, you stop being a comedian. Aaron Berg, Chad Zumach, fucking Pat Dixon, and now Kevin Brennan threatening violence. I don't get it. But Kevin Brennan plays all these bits and does all this shit. And I'm like, all right, we'll play your game. So about 2 weeks ago, a guy calls into our show. And he says, is Kevin Brennan's number still such and such, right? And I say, yeah, I guess, I don't know, right? And I don't care. I don't pay attention. Garrett usually takes that out. And this is on a Thursday.
And people probably may not wonder how the calls go at Compound. Like, we often don't know what people are calling in about. They aren't really screened. Like, they kind of just put through whoever calls in, and it's hard to know what people are going to say before they say it.
Yeah. So he gives out the number and I'm like, whatever. And we just go about our business. We bring on Frankie, whatever. Right. And then it's Friday, Daddy's jumping rope, as he often does. And I get a text from Kevin Brennan and he says, you really left my number and you really are. And he calls me flat out the N-word. Calls me the N-word.
Hold on. So I just want to make sure this is clear. Kevin was upset that you didn't blurt out or bleep out the fan giving out his number.
We didn't take his number out of the episode.
He was upset that you then said it again and then didn't bleep it out.
No. I never said it at this point. it's Thursday. Okay. It's a week ago yesterday. Okay.
So just a fan called in and said his number.
Said his number once. And we didn't, it's like, yeah, I don't know. And we just kept going. We didn't say, what is the number? We just let it go, right? So then it's Friday, jumping rope as I often do. And I get a text from Kevin. And he goes, you really left you left my number in that episode. Wow, you really are in there. I'm sorry. That's what he wrote. And if that made anyone feel uncomfortable, good, because it is. Because that's how you use it as a slur, which I never do. And now I get a little angry because I'm like, this is offline. And I'm the one that fucking liars. And again, anyone listening, go find a clip other than just now of me screaming the N-word on stage, because I don't. Go find a clip of me bad-mouthing someone's shit, because I don't.
And
But
you have a little bit of like, I guess, pain over that, because I feel like a lot of people, it sucks to be misunderstood. I'm someone who's very much misunderstood purposely also. And so I feel like part of what Geno has going on is there's this story that people have sort of created and solidified about you, that you can't go a show without yelling the N-word on stage, and that you're
also,
drunk and you're and yeah.
I'm sorry, baby, go, yeah.
I mean,
Also,
you do
find
drink.
a clip of me pushing back. Find one clip of me pushing back against it, because I don't care. I don't care. I know my truth, to quote my brother, and it helps me cotton to the fans that fucking genuinely know me. But this is, so now I'm a little angry, and I text back, I'm like, here's what gets me, Kevin. One, because he lives in fucking his own world. A week earlier, he had gone on the Boss's show and given out Mike Calta's number. Gave it out.
Why?
Gave it out. Because he was mad at him and he was having an HISSY fit. He gave it out. Gets better. So then he gives it out, and I don't pay attention. And then a week later, after it happens on our show, he goes on the Boss's show afterwards, and he says, yeah, they gave out my number on the show. It's like, I don't care. No one watches his show anyway. So that's two things you said, okay? That's one. You want to play? You want to dance? Daddy can dance. You want to fucking say I can do it and you can't, and then say no one watches your show?
Felt a little bit hurt by him saying like nobody watches
no one
show.
watches our show. And by the way, if you look at the text thread, which, and I'm sorry I keep talking over you, baby. If you look at the text thread that led to him trashing the studio because he didn't want it to get out, I read the text thread, which I could find, but I'm like, look, and then I called Garrett immediately. This is before the Monday show. That weekend, I called Garrett and I'm like, did you leave it in? I text Garrett and Steve and I'm like, did you leave that in? I thought you took it out. He's like, I usually just do whatever leads to the most excitement or something. So he left it in. Brennan got all pissy. And then the more I thought, and then I go back and I apologize. I literally write back. I'm like, look, Garrett left it in. Sorry, don't pay attention. Oh, by the way, I left out the important part. When he wrote, you really are an N-word, I wrote back immediately. I'm like, thanks for the screen grab. Just to fucking
hold on,
piss him
I'm
off.
clear. At this point, he was upset that you didn't take out the fan saying his number, or he was upset that you didn't take out you saying his number?
This is still the weekend when only the fan said his number. And this is after I'd let it go that at the end of our show on Thursday, the fan said his number. And then he goes right on the Boss's show, which I'd be amazed if you let him back on that show. Actually, I wouldn't be amazed because the Boss is so fucking nice.
I watched that clip, I was like, he's gonna tip a camera over. He really looked like he wanted to like tip over one of the cameras.
It's almost like someone got in his head and broke him. It's almost like someone got in his head. It's almost like shit got real.
I just think everyone is in charge of controlling their own emotions, and like when you get to the point where you are damaging equipment or like physically trying to damage a person, like you've lost your shit. And like all of us get triggered every day by tons of shit, and like whether you were intentionally trying to like poke his buttons or not, like he still should not have reacted that way.
Oh, let me tell you, I was trying to poke his buttons because he fucking has I'm dancing all around. I'm sorry, I just woke up halfway through my coffee. So let's clear everything up. So Thursday that happens. He goes on the Boss's show. 10 minutes later says, no one watches our show. Okay. Then I get the text and I'm like, look, I talked to Garrett. I'm like, look, after all that, I'm like, I'm sorry Garrett left it up. I called him. He said he might be able to take it off. And he's still mad that I did the screen grab joke, because he thinks I'm going to post him being a fucking psycho. And he's like, fuck you. I know a ton of people who want to beat you up. And he's like, fucking post it. I dare you. I'm like, I'm not going to post it.
Kevin said, I know a ton of people that want to beat you up.
Yeah,
these are the sounds like something a middle schooler would say. Like that's,
or a guy
I don't
that's
know, maybe
losing
it's
his
like a man
shit.
thing that I don't understand. Like I just don't understand the male urge to physically beat someone up. I think that's like very sophomoric and kind of Neanderthalish. But
especially when you're a comedian, we use our words, Chrissy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, none of us are in fighting shape, So it's
no. So
nobody looks tough.
so he says all that, and I apologize. I'm like, look, I really apologize. I still consider you a friend. I apologize 3 times. And he's like, fuck you. I'm like, all right. So then I go on the air on Monday, and I give out his number. And I'm like, well, no one watches the show. And I gave it out.
You did that? In that moment when you did it, when you were giving out his number, were you more like pissed about him saying no one watches your show, or was it other stuff?
I was just pissed that he lives such a his whole. Thank you for steering me. I was pissed because his show is 2 days a week on Patreon, and it reminds me that I'm not full of shit because I've done everything in my life to do what I want to do and say what I want to say, and I get what I'm going to get. And I know that sounds like fucking double speak, and maybe it is, but I wound up here by being genuine. And our show in Hot Water.
So what's like under that? Do you feel like he kind of like has it easy, or like what's under like
no,
you say he has it? He only does it 2 days a week. It's like he's like not doing it as enough as you.
That's a great question. I'm sorry, I talked to. I feel like I feel like I can help him, and he's doing this just for the money. And I feel bad for a guy that has to make drama, and you become a victim of the machine. He has to make drama for his show. That's all his show is. Okay. So I literally went on, and another thing I said is like, it's 2022, and I said this on the air. I'm like, I don't think it's a big deal when your number gets out. And I'm not saying I'm right. I'm saying I'm me, because back as early as 2004, you could ask Bob Levy. We used to do a show out of Philly called The Kid Chris Show. He's in Cincy now, huge following, but he gave my number out then. Okay. 2004, when you had actual phones attached to walls with fucking cords, and when someone called, you would answer it, you know? But now it's 2022. Like, if someone calls and you don't know the number, you ignore it. If someone texts and you fucking don't know them, you read it and it's mean and you laugh and delete it.
Block it, but it's still not great. Like, I would really be upset if somebody gave out my number over the air just because
why would I give out your number? Chrissie, would I give out your number because you said, I don't care that you gave out my number, it's no big deal, calls me a word that I'm accused of saying, and he's furthering that narrative as much as fucking anyone? No, your number's out. And to prove that I'm not full of shit, I gave my number out, 646.
Bad, really, really bad. You know I'm bad.
64 repeatedly during the episode because I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if someone texts 646 64 because I've spent the past 3 mornings with a cigar, drinking coffee, responding to my fans. And I think you'll appreciate this, Chrissie. You might want to think about giving out your number. I'm kidding, of course, but there's nowhere else to talk to fans anymore because Reddit's awful. Fucking Twitter's become a cesspool. And we even had that Discord thing for In Hot Water and Compound Media. And now that's infiltrated by trolls. So if you want to talk to me, 646 Gypsy Mama. And it also gets under his fucking NOGGIN skull. Fucking, you know, it's like, well, he gave out his number. Yeah, I'm not full of shit. So I don't care. And he loses his shit. And that's too much. And then when he goes on the boss's show and he walks in and he's like, move, I'm going to fucking punch you. And all I can say to him is like,
why do you keep spinning?
Fucking do that. You're out of your fucking mind. By the way, stop calling me right now unless you're a troll and you're trying to put my phone's ringing off the hook right now and I have to keep ignoring it. Don't call 646.
Oh my God. Is it me? Why does he keep going?
Because people are calling him and he's on his phone with you.
That was a great idea, Geno.
Did I lose you? Did you see the episode yet?
I've just been watching clips. I need to watch through the whole episode. Okay, so I want people to know like what you were feeling when these things were happening so they can understand you better, because it's so easy to just be like, oh, Geno's an asshole for giving out Kevin's number. Like, you have to know what is leading up to all this. Like, you know,
I feel like comedy is for intelligent people. And I think In Hot Water 4 days a week really is. I think In Hot Water 4 days a week really is fucking the smartest way of being stupid or the dumbest way of trying to be clever. I really do.
I love your show. And okay, this is what happens. This is why we don't give our number out.
Dude, this is Geno. This is what, 8 phone calls you've gotten in the last 3 minutes?
Yes.
Okay, this is why you don't give your phone number out on the air, and this is why Kevin Brennan is mad. He has a right to be upset about it. He really does. You should not have celebrated it and gave it out 20 times.
Frank, can I respectfully say shut the fuck up for a minute? Because this is what I mean. Like, Frank, he doesn't. Because, Well, let me get reassert. He does, but in my defense, he said no one listened to our show, so I didn't think anyone would see it. And in my defense,
you've got the job at Compound that he wants. It's clearly saying it out of jealousy.
oh, I didn't.
That's why he says that to you.
I didn't realize I was touching a nerve because I have the job that he quit and then like a victim tried to tell people he was fired. Yeah.
Okay, I can understand the jealousy because you have 4 days a week and he wanted 4 days a week.
He could have just sat there and done his fucking job and done what all of us do. Just all I ever say to the boss is thank you. I fucking added a football show, which was preempted yesterday because of his fucking hissy fit. And I didn't ask the boss for a penny. I asked for some extra money for fucking Garrett and Steve, which you're not going to believe this, gladly gave us. Because when you love what you do what you love and the money will follow. And I'm sorry that everything has become these cute little platitudes with me, but I'm sorry. It's that simple. And Brennan does stuff for the money and he's suffering now for it. And I don't want him to. I love the guy, but there's never been a time I walked into anyone else's studio and threatened to break a camera or threatened to break a fucking employee. And that's fucking pathetic and sad. And the people that side with him, it's the same. I'm sorry that it
makes everything funnier, the fact that you keep getting called.
I know, thank you. And again, wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great if I was getting all these calls and I'm like, God damn it, every time it pops up, I started giggling.
Here's what I don't understand about your guys' conflict. Like, you two are not in competition at all. Like, you're totally doing your own separate thing. I can understand Kevin being jealous because you have 4 days a week at Compound and he doesn't. Like, he had, 2, wanted 4, and then ended up quitting because he was upset that he wasn't getting 4 days a week. And I think that was a silly move on his part because, like, for me, like, I knew Compound wasn't going to be my everything, my whole creative source, my whole income source. I just was like, okay, this is a piece of the pie. What else can I do? I just think I thought it was silly that he sat at Compound and complained about not getting more money instead of going out and making more money.
Yeah.
So
it's such a great vehicle.
Yeah.
And I've said this is another thing. I asked Garrett once, like, how would you describe this place? Because I was trying to make some other bizarre Bisconte point, and he nailed it because he's brilliant. He goes, it's a playground. It's a playground. And let me tell you, there's some fine shows on Gas. Are some genuinely fine shows on Gas Digital, right? I'm sorry that every time someone calls me, I giggle because I really don't give a fuck.
Sideways like Stuttering John. I'm sideways now.
So wait, what happens when someone calls me?
You actually go sideways. The whole screen turns like this.
So when someone calls me, I go sideways. Do I keep talking? Can you still hear me?
No, you completely, it's completely.
I'm back.
You are frozen in time, sideways, motionless.
Everything is an opportunity for fucking giggles. And now that you're telling me that, it's even fucking funnier to me.
Geno, okay. So deep down, it sounds to me like you care for Kevin Brennan. You want him to explore himself more fully creatively. Like, you want him to do something other than just creating drama and shitting on people. Would you say that's correct?
Hold on. Let me straighten up here. Actually, I'm being a little sarcastic. I really don't give a fuck, but that's what leads to money. Following money always leads to fucking negativity and grief. It does. Don't get me wrong. Let the money find you and you're fine. You know, money's not real. Money's like blood in the body. The more you send it out, the more it comes back.
You're not like trying to help him. You're not like trying to help him find his way creatively. You're just.
Let me tell you, after the shit that went on the past, when he fucking calls me, I don't mind you living a fucking, bit for your entire fucking, podcasting thing. But when you drag me into the bit and people think it's real, I have to find a way to defend myself. And the only way to get through to him is to have him fucking lose his mind and make people make people follow whichever way they want to go. And when people are writing, wow, you got to get rid of Geno, I got to get rid of Geno because Aaron Berg threw me against the wall. You got to get rid of Geno because Pat Dixon got so whacked out on Adderall he punched my face. We got to get rid of Geno because Chad Zumach is a psycho that's just unraveling fucking tweet by tweet. We got to get rid of Geno because Kevin Brennan, who quit on the boss, and the boss was... Sorry, I went sideways there. And the boss was nice enough to let it by. That's an international one. And the boss was not... We got to get rid of Geno because the boss was nice enough to let Kevin back in after he quit. And then he threatened to break a camera. And then he literally broke a fuse box to cut off the boss's stream. Yeah, it's me. I'm sorry if everyone in comedy has become a soft little... Brennan calls me all the time while I'm sucking a cock in the green room. But you're... Man the fuck up. Hello, Phoenix, Arizona. By the way, from now on, if you call me, I'm going to... 602 just called me. Thank you for the call. So if you call me, I'm just going to thank you for the call. See how much fun this is?
All right. So did we cover this all? Okay, so you gave out his number because you were like, who cares? And then you gave out your number. So that was Monday that happened?
That was Monday. And then here's the other thing. Brennan's a little bitch. It's like, you got to take it down. I've never asked the boss. I've never asked anyone to take anything down. I've never asked anyone to be fired. Never did any of those things. This is all the shit that the trolls accuse me of. And here's the beauty of it. Brennan lives on social media. That's a terrible way for a 63-year-old man with 2 beautiful children and a wife that's probably not sleeping with him anymore to live. That's a terrible fucking way. You know, like I was saying this, I was out Wednesday night with the boss. You know where we were drinking? In real life. We were at a bar in real life, drinking. You know,
when he comes back.
And shooting the shit.
Is there a tiny part of you that like missed, like maybe you're sad that your friendship with Kevin has sort of unraveled? Like, is there a small part of you that you're like, fuck, like, why can't we get along? Or why can't, you know?
No, because I think there's always room for reconciliation, but not when you're threatening me and assaulting my boss, and threatening to destroy my boss's studio. And you're just, and here's another thing. Like, he's working with Bob Levy now, who I fucking love, but he's stressing my buddy Bob out. And I can't deal with it. You know, it's like it's the definition of toxicity. He's got to take a step back and a deep breath. And everyone's like, oh, and the other part is, I'm sorry, but they called in that same Thursday when someone's number was given out, when I was making fun of Vineland where I lived. And they're like, why are you angry, Gene? I'm like, I'm not angry. And like, were you ever in a relationship with someone who, when they're in a shit mood, they try and dump it on you? It's like, what are you mad about? It's like, I'm not mad. Oh, I thought you were. I was just joking. That when they said, are you mad? I'm like, I'm not mad. And now it's a week later. And I believe Levy lost his mind and we made up because we're lifetime friends. And Brennan seems like he's still angry. I thought I was angry.
You know, can you do settings, phone, silence unknown callers, and then click on?
Wait, what do you want me to do?
Go into settings.
I think you're just fucking with me.
Me? No. You're fucking with yourself. Go into settings.
For phone?
Yes. And then
go into settings. Oh, I see.
We're having fun.
I think it's wrong that Geno gave out the number, but I think it's even worse how much it escalated.
It seems really needless in the way that it escalated.
Yeah, it sounded like, and maybe I misheard something, that Cumia and Geno spoke about it yesterday at some point, and that should have been it. I love Geno. I think he's fantastic on stage and off.
Yeah.
So I don't mind saying I think it was wrong for him to do that, but I think it's even worse how Kevin reacted. You know, and this isn't the first time that Kevin's had similar issues, I guess. I think he went after Landau to some extent live on the air on Sirius XM.
Right.
Which, look, if it's a thing he's gonna do, you know, and they talk about it ahead of time, that's one thing. But you know, physically assaulting or attacking people, whether it's Pat punching somebody or even to defend Kevin, Gary Goldman and Bobby Kelly attacked Kevin Brennan, and that's also fucking wrong. You know, but like this two things don't make a right situation is going to keep on perpetuating if people don't calm the fuck down.
I think Geno has a talent for triggering people. Like he sometimes can really like hold up a mirror uh and show people their vulnerabilities. And I think if Brennan has been low-key jealous of Landau, of him, of anybody who's had like a 4-day gig at Compound, and the whole time he's thinking like, oh fuck, I should have this, not you, because you're not funny, no one watches your show. Like he's trying to nag Geno in his show because he's like, I'm more deserving of this than he is. But that's something he's got to get over himself. Like, you know, Kevin Brennan's a great comic. It's like, if you really want to be on Compound, like be so big and so good that they can't help but give you what you want. You know what I mean?
Better?
Yes.
Good. Now we can answer the phone when they call you.
Yeah.
Now I don't even have my phone with me. Sorry about that.
Do you feel like you unnecessarily antagonize Kevin Brennan?
You create your own hell. Like, when did comedy be? Like, maybe he should be an alt comic if you're going to be, if you can't, it's literally the definition of he cannot take what he's dishing out. He gave out someone's number. He said my show, no one watched it. So I gave out his number like he gave out someone else's number.
Okay.
And I gave it out on my show because no one watches my show. And he responds by fucking calling me a racial slur. I'm sorry that I'm going to take that bit and say, well, I guess I can give your number out on my show.
Didn't you call him a racial slur on my show? Didn't you call in? And that's what made what's her face walk out.
Oh yeah.
But
do you understand?
That was a fun time.
I was literally calling in, and that's what people do. All the misinformation. They're like, Anthony Zenner's like, yeah, that Geno's losing. He goes on Chrissie's show and just starts scripting. No, I called in and I said I was at a bar and I had to leave because they said I walked out on the tab, which I didn't like. And Kevin just kept screaming this and that as a bit. And Kevin was even laughing on your show about it, if you recall, because we're buddies and it's fine. But it's like I'm making it a bit. I'm giving out your number. I'm giving out mine as well. And thank you for all the calls. I am, but that's the beauty of it. Like, perfect example, when I give the number out on my show, like I only get our fans calling. I'm sure you have the trolls in your thing that are just ruining us, Chrissy. I don't know how we're ever going to survive the calls. I had to walk to the other wing of my apartment and fucking all the trolls just saw my fucking boxered ass. That'll teach them. I mean, what don't you get?
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
What don't you get? What don't you get about this is if you're in comedy, I'm sorry that I'm the asshole because I keep breaking people. I keep driving people to violence rather than words. It's almost like maybe you should have never got into this. Maybe you should have never gotten into this if you're doing it for attention and money. Maybe if you genuinely want to make people laugh, if you genuinely want there to be a lesson from this. And again, I'm not saying, well, let me script out a lesson for Kevin Brennan. But the bottom line is, fucking if Kevin just said, yeah, I did, blah, 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 and laughed it off. But nope. He's like, I will fucking punch you. I will fucking kill you. I don't care that I have a wife and 2 children. Fuck them. I'm going to be a man. You're not a man. You're a fucking person who doesn't think. And I'm sorry that that's the lesson. And I'm sorry. This is funny. My fucking cord came out. I hope it's charged. And I'm sorry. Hi. It's the side of my head. Sorry. I just wanted to make sure.
No,
I'm sorry. I just didn't want to lose my charge. So
okay.
I'm sorry that, that you're like, I'm a comedian. And Kevin was a great comedian. He was fucking on Saturday Night Live. He's fucking in the and he's still hilarious. But comedy now wants nothing to do with a straight white male well over fucking 50. It doesn't. It's got the ones it needs, and so he's got to find a new path.
He's upset that he's not further along.
I think he's had a great comedy career, and I think he's fucking hilarious. And I think but now he's looking. I've said this. I said it on the show on Wednesday. If you saw it in Hot Water when we had Andrea Bryan on, who's great. She was on the last football show that aired. Thank you, Kevin Brennan. And she's young. I'm like, look, no matter how you do things, if you don't go within, you go without. And I've said that. It's a simple fact. Like our In Hot Water is so much fun. I'm not telling you it's good. We have so much fun because we create from within. I'm like, all right, this is what I want to talk about, and we'll see where it goes. And that's why everyone's like, oh, Geno's dwelling on. I've been doing this for 915 episodes. I talk about fucking my life, and I spin plates and I dish it off to everyone else who's fucking hilarious around me because I'm not insecure. And I know I'm funny, but you know what? I also know that I love laughing. And if people are going to make me laugh on my show, I'm going to love it. So I just go within and say things, and that creates what we're doing every single fucking day. But when you go without and say, oh my God, I'm 63. How do I make money? Well, I'll create all this drama. I'll Pat Dixon call into the show and it'll be great. And then I'll just sit back and yell Yahtzee. And, you know, and then I'll fucking just scream about like all this shit about other people when really, hey, like there's been times I complimented Kevin's kid. I'm like, yeah, you have 2 beautiful kids. Don't bring my kids in. All right, look, we get it. You're a closed off person that doesn't want anyone to know him, but that's fine. But you're going to drive yourself nuts every day saying, what can I create next? What can I do to fucking give me 2 fucking days, not 5, 2 fucking days of fucking Patreon content, which I'll say again, I've never missed one. He's crazy and he's funny, but at
do you
some
think
point
he should be working harder? You think he should be doing more?
I'm not going to tell him what. No, I'll tell you what he shouldn't be doing. He shouldn't be fucking being a little bitch if he can't talk his own talk and walk his own walk. He shouldn't. And if you're really a comedian, you should never fucking say, now I'm going to hit you. I mean, unless I hit you first.
Yeah, there's nothing somebody could do that would make me want to hit them.
Yeah.
But that's maybe a lady thing.
I know. And Chrissie, we've all been hit before. We've all been struck by possibly the same person who I often say on the air and say, why don't you come to New York?
You know,
why don't you set foot in New York City and sue me? And then I'll just bring up a parade of people that will testify in court. Oh, you don't want to do that? Because you're a fucking cunt. Oh, I'll say it again. People start things. I finish them. I finish them with a broad stroke. And I love to be like, if you think it was finished when Pat Dixon punched me, that's my origin story.
You definitely don't want to get hit again, Geno. Like I don't think anybody wants to get hit.
I don't think anyone in comedy I should have to worry about being hit because I'm not doing anything other than fucking busting balls and making jokes. I've never made a threat at Kevin Brennan's life. I never badmouth his family. You know, I've never done anything to him he hasn't done to me. The guy screams at the top of his lungs all the time, and I laughed.
That was a lot. That was a lot. Like, I was surprised he couldn't come up with any other insults other than just that one. Do you now, looking back, Geno, do you slightly regret giving out his number?
No. No, because I have no regrets because you have to live like we're the sum of everything that put us here on this fucking, couch while my phone rings off the hook. We're the sum of everything, and you learn from it, and I learned a lot about Kevin from this incident. And it's just like, it's like he shouldn't be in the comedy world if he wants to fucking break things. And I also learned this. He's an ungrateful person. The boss let him back in, and that's how he thanked him. And all the fans like, what was Geno doing there? You see, I worked there. And in between In Hot Water, which I've been doing for 6 years and 900 plus episodes, and the football show, which comes on at 7:00 because we had to replace Pat Dixon, who's a fucking liability. I'm in there working on the football show. Why would I leave when I work there? As my brother once said, yeah, I'm drunk, I should go. Oh, wait, it's my fucking house. And if you have a problem with me drinking too much of my, you should get the fuck out. Well, Kevin's coming in here. Well, then, I should leave. Oh, wait,
he came in too arrogant, too cocky, and it certainly shouldn't have been, damaging equipment.
It'd be one thing if he was the longest tenured employee there. It'd be another thing if I fucking went up to him and choked him out. But when the boss lets you back in, welcomes you back, and you're ungrateful again, saying, well, I'm only because you quit. I'm not making enough money with it. Well, you quit, and we don't need to pay you.
I just heard that he is being paid a little bit to come in every week now.
He is.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not talking to the school by saying how generous the fucking boss is, because the boss doesn't have to pay him. I hope I'm not speaking out of school when I'm saying we're like, yeah, but I want more money. Well, then you shouldn't have quit, because I don't know if you know this. We don't fucking need you. We don't need you. You don't.
Oh, that's the thing is, like, when people want to raise, they demonstrate the value. Like, well, that's what's tricky too. It's nobody has any idea how many listeners or viewers that they bring in. Like, we are never shown any kind of statistics or
and
numbers.
I've never
it's
asked.
hard. It's hard to set goals when you don't know like where you're at. I mean, I think In Hot Water was like, you guys might be number 2 right after Cumia, but it's hard to set goals when you don't know your numbers and what you're bringing in. But I was going to say, if we did know that, Brennan could have said, here are the viewers I bring to the network. Here's my draw, whatever. or just,
yeah, but I will say this. I'll give Kevin props. When he was at the studio, like Ali used to always say, yeah, like the top 2 shows after the boss are like you and Burning Bridges. But then you leave. And it's like coming back. It's not like he's going to take that whole chunk.
Well,
when he left,
probably negotiating. He probably thought that like he was gonna, threaten to leave, and then they would be like, "Oh no, please stay."
Well, I'm sure when he left, it revealed how few people left, and I don't mean this in a mean way. Like the people that left are diehard Kevin Brennan only fans. not only fans like I just gave. I'm sorry, but they are. But when it's not that big a chunk, it's like, what are we bringing them back for? Whatever, 8% more viewer. I don't know. I don't know anything. I don't worry, which is why to this day, since day one, I remember we used to do it Tuesday afternoons. And the boss made me realize this because it's like Tuesday afternoons, we'd get done and the boss would be there. I barely know him. And I would just walk up and like, thanks for letting us do this. And he'd always be like, thanks so much. And now it's like every day. And they talked about it on, Compound Censored last Wednesday. Gavin's like, I'll give Geno this. He's bought like 200 shots. And the boss goes, right, for himself. Did you get any of those? It's hilarious. But the boss like, Geno always comes in. He pays. He's like all guinea. He's like, it's like a tribute. Walks in, says thank you, buys me a shot, sits down and that's it. And I always do because I don't care how many people are watching. I know how much fun I'm having. I know how grateful I am for it. And I thank the boss. I can tell you, I can count on the number of times on one hand. Actually, I don't even need Ann to count the number of times I threatened to punch someone in his studio or break his fucking camera or fucking slam the door like a fucking bitch cunt and fucking break the studio. None. Which is the number of days he should be allowed back in the studio until he apologizes to Cumia. I'm sorry. That's, and here's something else. I've never demanded an apology from anyone. And I said, Dixon's such a, he's like, as far as I know, things are all smoothed over. We were going to sit down, but Geno wouldn't sit down and apologize. Sit down and what a coward. I love that and this is the beauty of it. This is not a victim. These people are all victims. The people that have to storm out because Geno wouldn't leave, and the people that have to leave the country because Geno ruined my rent stream that I hadn't paid in 10 months because I was a fucking locust on my ex-wife. These are the victims. It's awful being a victim. It's awful giving control of your own life to someone else. And let's circle all the way back, Jen Psaki, which is why do I regret it? No, because everything we've ever done put us right here in this moment on this fucking, on this fucking exercise ball, fucking Skyping or whatever, live StreamYarding with you. And you either say, wow, I'm a victim of what happened, or I'm the result of, I'm responsible for everything that put me here.
We have a fan of yours in the chat. Geno might run his mouth, but he's right. Controlling your own actions is the mark of a man.
It's a fact.
Woman. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Admiral. It's a fact. And all these guys, and that's part of the drama. It's like, it's so much drama. There's no drama in my life. And when I fucking call Kevin Brennan out for his fucking fake drama, it's like, what the fuck? Yeah, Geno's got to go. No, people have to learn how to take a joke if you're in the comedy industry. People have to learn how to fucking relax. People have to learn how to make everything. Geno gave out my number. Now people won't. I thought no one watched my show. Mm-hmm. And then we took it down. And I apologized repeatedly. No, right. and that brings us to the center of the corn maze, Stewie. That's why he trashed the studio. If you watch the end of that thing, I was about to show, which you could see at the end of In Hot Water, how many times I apologized, and that would ruin his victimhood narrative. And he literally got so angry, he tried to punch me. Then he went back to the chair, and I said, all right, Garrett, let's show the screen grabs. That's it, I'm fucking leaving. Fuck you. You should have. It's like, yeah, it's almost like I broke you. Yeah, but now I'm going to break your face. All right, psycho. Then throw away your kid's fucking future. Yeah, this is another setup I use, but it's like I can't smoke my cigar like I can. But I just should.
It's your apartment. Can't you smoke wherever you want? Oh my God.
What the fuck?
Oh my God. I was so scared for a second. I was like, oh my God. Please don't be naked.
Oh God. You'll never unsee that. Distract them while I steal more coffee.
From Cesario.
So
I think Geno needs a leg day. New drinking game. Take a shot every time Geno's video feed goes horizontal. How many shots can be had before the live stream ends?
Hold on, I'm not on my phone now.
Are you wearing Keanu's underwear?
No.